morning, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Health Discourse with Sakshi and Sushan. And today, our topic of discussion is going to be about obesity and some of the prominent drugs that are very popular in the market in order to combat the problem of obesity. So, hi, Sushan. Good morning. Welcome to this episode. And today, our center of discussion is going to be about let us educate and let us decode. First thing, why is obesity prominently so happening among individuals? And because most of us know it happens because of wrong nutrition choices and what other reasons because of fat deposition. So I think it is time to now break all those myths and let us bring out the real reason why obesity is happening.
Good morning, everyone. It's an interesting thing and probably quite you know challenging as well as controversial because we have seen every third person claiming they have the magic wand to give you to make you lose weight or uh, you know help you overcome obesity. So obviously, people nutrition, as you rightly pointed out, is by far the most important determinants of our health and disease, including weight gain and obesity, right? So most of the solution are focused on creating artificially creating calorie deficit, right? By eating less and spending more, right? And creating an you know sort of energy disequilibrium, probably having less energy, spending more, and that's a common way to look at it, right? That's how people think. Okay, I eat less, I work out more, I lose weight, but the side effects and the impact on the overall physiology is always undermined, right? So when you eat less, you devoid your body of a lot of vitamins and minerals, and again, you end up taking supplements because you would take because food again is a bouquet of thousands of molecules. So you are ingesting when you're taking a food, you're ingesting a lot of molecules. So that's a normal approach, and again, to add to this, people start blaming carbohydrates. For gaining weight, although we know probably junk foods, processed carbs, all these are bad, but they are something called microbiota excessive carbohydrates, or what we call as complex carbohydrates, which is combined with fiber, right? And again, these are found in various food sources, including vegetables, including a lot of these grains, right? And millets and grains. So a lot of these things would help you, uh, have a better weight management. But the thing is, we generally focus more on quick fix solutions and having a lot of protein. Again, protein have a determinant effect on your health. But I'm not going to discuss that today. Probably, that's a separate discussion. I think we had that discussion earlier, right? So probably we could link give a background to that video as well, so probably people want to listen, right? Uh, but yeah, coming on to obesity again, it is there are two things when you talk of weight gain. One is inflammation, right? So again, we know that root cause of every disease is inflammation, and it starts either from your mouth or from your gut, right? And again, the role of microbiome, because most of this fitness company misses out the 99% of the biology, that is your microbiome, right? The functions these microbiome perform, right? So just to let everyone know that the food that we eat is first available to the microbes in our mouth, where we digest the food, and then available for food is available for absorption, right? The food which is not absorbed, right? Which is again a major part because 99% of genes expressed in our body are microbial. So a lot of these food substrates reach our gut, and the microbes convert them into beneficial thing or bad things. That is, the bad thing is trigger inflammation that causes this. So some of the inflammatory byproducts released by that microbiome which causes obesity is DMO-trimethylmalonyl oxide, which is again a byproduct of choline and lecithin and L-carnitine, right? Or LPS, which is again consumption of sugar and processed foods and a lot of these junk and fatty foods, right? So again, lipopolysaccharides which cause obesity, right? And again, on the flip side, when we talk of energy metabolism or energy extraction, energy expenditure, there is certain molecular features and pathways inside our body which triggers it, right? And these pathways are what make sure that you create that deficit, right? And make sure that your energy metabolism is right intact and you have a healthy weight management, right? So again, when you want, so it is all about the feeling of satiety level. Again, we say eat carbs and you have a lot of satiety. Eat fiber, you have a lot of satiety, right? Carbs filled of fiber are really good for your satiety. Why? Because our body cannot metabolize fiber and it actually boils onto your microbiome. They eat fiber and secrete a lot of beneficial byproducts such as bitrate. Bitrate improves your satiety, it regulates your blood glucose levels, right? And second thing is acetate, right? Acetate again is a short chain fatty acid which plays a key role in release of a particular protein, what we call as GLP-1, right? So there are certain such pathways like GLP-1, PYY, right? Your gut microbiome impact your production of GLP-1, PYY, your ghrelin, leptin. Again, ghrelin is an hunger hormone, leptin is an hunger suppressing hormone, right? So all these are regulated directly by your gut microbiome, right? Again, GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1, right? Which is a protein, right, which regulates our satiety. It is produced by our gut microbiome. This acts as satiety signal for all the organs inside the body, right? And it is produced by a gut microbiome, provided your gut microbiome are you have a right set of gut microbes active, expressing right set of genes which are producing GLP-1, right? Again, so how it functions, we consider this, there is a GLP-1 receptor, right, which is called, let's assume, just called a full button, right? And again, your GLP is your finger which presses this button, right? So essentially, you need to have GLP-1 right regulated, right? And if you don't have, probably your body is imbalanced because your gut microbiome is imbalanced, right? So essentially, this would make you gain weight, even if you are eating less, doesn't matter. You would revert to sometime in future in some few months situation where you will again start gaining weight, and that's a business model of that's a financial model, right? That's not a healthcare model to lose your weight. That's a financial model for the fitness companies to make money because they want you to come every month, pay for their coaches, pay for their nutrition intervention, pay for their supplements, pay for their protein shakes, and blah blah blah, right? So coming on to GLP-1, right? You had a question on GLP-1, yeah.
Yeah, so we can see that a lot of money has been spent on research and clinical trials with GLP-1 medicine. As
Hmm.
such, there's been trials on a lot of population, especially in the West. Not sure about India, but yes, there has been a lot of research coming up that GLP-1 is effective medication for obesity. Now they're claiming it is also effective for type 2 diabetes. Even people who are having the both obesity and diabetes, very certainly people are opting for GLP-1 medications, right? And
Hmm.
now another angle that is coming up, it can also help in anxiety and some mental health related issues. So how
Hmm.
relevant is this in terms of human biology? Because what I feel is a single dose of medication cannot be effective for everyone since your microbiome is the one which is metabolizing food, right? Similarly, I believe that microbiome is the one which is metabolizing these drugs as well. When everyone has an individual biology at a molecular level and the microbiome is unique and diverse, so how can we actually claim that these will work for everyone?
So there are two gaps here, Sakshi. First thing is obesity, diabetes, anxiety, mental health issues are not something which occurs from one particular bad thing, right? There's a network of molecular pathways which is happening inside the body, right? And again, we need to understand these biochemical pathways because you and me, or me with even with the tree, would share 99% of the genes, right, which are static, right? But you and me only share 5% of the microbiome. So 95% of the microbiome is unique, right? And again, so even if there are trials happening on these drugs, that is an sort of correlation, right? Which establish a correlation to probably this particular chemical, this particular drug could help. So microbiomes could help in curbing obesity. But again, you have to look at causation. So you have to understand your
So,
biology.
Sushan, I would like you to hold this thought here because let us, I think, for the benefit of all the listeners who are listening to this talk, let us first make them understand what exactly is GLP-1 and why it is getting popular, and let's just move on to what it is doing to people, right?
Okay. Okay, so GLP-1 again is, as I mentioned, it is a protein released by gut microbiome when they produce acetate, right? So acetate secretes a GLP-1. Again, GLP-1 is, as I mentioned, it is like putting a brake on your food consumption. So there's a GLP-1 receptor, right? So GLP-1 attached to this GLP-1 receptor, and again, in simple words, that receptor is a button which has to be pressed by this GLP-1, right? So consider that you are driving a car, you have to press a brake because you are in traffic, or probably you see something coming from the front, right? So you press a brake. Similarly, to make your energy, to have a right energy metabolism, energy extraction, energy expenditure, and you need to have these proteins and these hormones which regulate your satiety, right? So again, if you don't have so that's a common assumption that if you are gaining weight, probably you don't have GLP-1, or your body is not producing. It's not your body produces, your microbiome produces your GLP-1, right? So essentially, in simple words, scientifically, your body is imbalanced. Your body is not having the right set of microbes active expressing genes which are producing GLP-1. Again, that's why you resort to GLP-1 drugs. That is one of the reason you resort to GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and a lot of these which are coming up, right? But there are couple of other reasons which causes which makes you obesity. Probably I'll discuss that at the end of the talk. But let me give you a feed for everyone about GLP-1. GLP-1 drugs are set to artificially press that button. So GLP-1 receptor, these presses the button artificially. Again, as you rightly pointed out, the effectiveness of GLP-1 depends upon your microbiome, right? There are certain set of microbes, you know, uh, such as Bacteroides dory, such as Roseburia, a lot of these bacteria which were active and expressive genes have a positive correlation with glycemic reduction or glycemic optimization, right? Optimizing the glycemic response. So if these bacteria, having these bacteria doesn't mean they are actually suppressing, or they are metabolizing GLP-1 into something beneficial. It is, if they are active, they are expressing right set of genes, they are expressing. So probably, when they express right set of genes, they could actually convert GLP-1 into better things, right? Which can improve your satiety, which can help you lose weight. Second thing, if you have certain microbes such as Prevotella copri, which is expressing virulence genes, again having Prevotella copri doesn't mean it will suppress GLP-1, it will not confer the GLP-1 benefits. So if they're expressing virulence genes, it have a negative correlation with glycemic reduction, right? So again, it depends upon your gut microbiome, whether you have the right set of microbes expressing, active or expressing right set of genes to actually, you know, convert GLP-1 drugs into something beneficial. Again, if some weight loss companies, or what we call as medical weight loss companies, are claiming that, uh, we are helping you lose weight, it is just a correlation which you are targeting probably, and it may work for one person, it may not work for other, because again you have not understood the human biology or unique biology of an individual, because which is linked to your microbiome. So if you have not decoded the function of the microbiome, probably you are not able to confer the benefits of GLP-1. Again, another thing important is there are certain microbes uh, in our gut called Enterococcus faecalis. Probably if it is expressing a particular protein, it could degrade GLP-1, right? So probably you may lose it, you may become type 2 diabetic again, So it all depending upon this expression of genes again is depending upon some external trigger, which is again a food, what we eat, and certain environment factor or stress, right? So just assuming that having a pill would uh, a GLP-1 drug could help you lose weight is utter nonsense, right? Because again, you have to understand your unique biology, right? Uh, you can't say, okay, I have this drug, probably no one can tell you, you take this if you lose weight. So again, you are just masking your problem, right? You're artificially creating a GLP-1 inside your body, which is going to press that button to improve your satiety, right? But again, whether it presses that button or not, it again depends upon your gut microbiome, right? So that is one of the reasons why you gain weight or you become obese. I mentioned about the inflammation, right? Byproducts such as TMAO and LPS, which causes inflammation, right? The gut-brain axis, which impacts your satiety, or which tells how much of probably your gut tells your brain that they're hungry, and brain tells them to start the digestion process. So this interaction between gut and brain via vagus nerves also impact your satiety, also impact your hunger responses. Again, we mentioned about so this communication generally happens through a lot of biochemical signals or through a lot of neurotransmitters, which is again impacts your food intake, right? So there is a complex web of molecular interaction pathways happening which has to be understood. Second thing is again, which is most of the neglected part, right? And which is now scientific community is taking a stock of the situation is the microbes in your mouth, right? Again, there is a gas our body produces every millisecond, every 30 milliseconds. There is nitric oxide, right? Nitric oxide is said to have vasodilation effect. It's said to regulate your insulin signal, said to regulate your blood pressure, right? It does that because it is a key gas involved in blood flow and different parts of the body, right? So essentially, uh, it has been found that people who are obese haven't. So how the nitric oxide is produced, probably we discussed this in the last talk also when we discussed about the exercise performance, right? So essentially, there is we have an endothelial cell which is lining every blood vessel. There is an uh, enzyme called nitric oxide synthase which is coupled with this endothelial cell. This nitric oxide synthase is produces nitric oxide, which has this vasodilation effect, and that is one way. Other way is obviously oral microbiome. When we consume a lot of food high in nitrate, probably in vegetables, this nitrate is converted to nitrite. Nitrite, mixes in the stomach acid gets converted to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide have a role to play in in regulating your weight management. So essentially, if your nitric oxide synthase is not producing, probably this again nitrite 25%. So this is converted into nitric oxide. A larger part goes into bloodstream and circulatory system and gets stored in various tissues, and when it requires, it is actually converted to nitric oxide, right? So essentially, the people who have obesity have a lower expression of ENOS, this nitrosynthase, right? And again, and because of oxidative stress, probably if you're consuming a lot of food which are high in tyrosine or which produces cortisol or even tryptophan, which could convert into endoxyl sulfate, which could cause oxidative stress, or I mentioned about the inflammatory products like TMAO, like LPS, right? It could lead to uncoupling of these NOS with endothelial cell or endothelial cell dysfunction, right? Another thing which is important is the metabolism of L-arginine. So how does NOS produce nitric oxide? So when in presence of oxygen, right? Your what do you call your L-arginine gets converted to L-citrulline and nitric oxide, right? So so again, metabolism origin takes a key role here. So if it could be, metabolizing something called, asymmetric dimethyl arginine, right? ADMA, right? Again, ADMA suppresses your nitric oxide production, and then there's an enzyme called DDAH, which actually suppresses your ADMA, right? So again, this particular enzyme plays a key role in the metabolism of L-arginine, and again, inhibition or suppression of this DDAH is generally due to high homocysteine levels, or probably your vitamin B12 or B6 or folate is not able to break down your homocysteine, probably due to chemicals, or there is a high plasma level of glucose or oxidized LDL. There are multiple reasons, right? So you can't just say that it's only about GLP-1 drug. I take Ozempic, I take a drug, and it solves your problem. Again, research research has been going on all these drugs, but again, effectiveness. There has to be research also on effectiveness of these drugs on a wider population, depending upon the function of the microbiome, right? And again, the causation. So even if the drugs is set to cause beneficial impact on your metabolic activities, right? You also have to see how the drug would go well with your biology, right? So again, I'll give you a hack here, right? And it's very important. People who are spending money on these drugs, right? Uh, there's a very simple hack, right? There is an food molecule called oleic acid, right? And again, it is found in foods such as olive oil, sunflower seeds, avocados, eggs, chicken, a lot of these things, which can be converted by a gut microbiome into a byproduct called oleoyl right? And oleoyl is said to cause glucose, said to regulate your glycemic response, you maintain your glucose homeostasis, right? Regulate your insulin response, insulin secretion, and insulin secretion of GLP-1, right? So you probably understand, fix your gut microbiome, understand which bacteria are there, what they are doing, what metabolites they are producing. If you have certain bacteria active which are actually producing this olineol, right? It's called olineol, right? Which is the byproduct of oleic acid, right? And again, this you could get through uh, you know olive oil, right? Through avocados, right? Through uh, maybe certain eggs, right? Sunflower seeds, right? So you don't need to take all this. Probably fix your gut microbiome, fix your oral microbiome, understand your functions, your microbiome are producing, what genes are they expressing, right? Probably feed them with the right food so that they could produce GLP-1, right? Which could regulate your weight management, to regulate your metabolic health.
I think you've covered pretty interesting points here with regards to obesity. And I think we should conclude this talk with a few words which you would like to communicate to the people with obesity, because a lot of them actually do think that eating less and that calorie deficient, apart from GLP-1, the GLP-1 is not the only thing in the which is, uh, preached for obesity. So it is
Hmm.
calorie deficient, it is like intermittent fasting, it is like keto diet. There's a lot of things that people on a weight loss journey in order to combat obesity or for weight management, they are actually the sufferers here. So I think let us give them a few tips here so that they can just do away with all these things and focus on the real problem.
Yeah, so first thing is, don't go for quick fixes. Eating less, obviously, there's no brainer. You eat less, you lose weight, right? But again, would you think of a situation you would keep on eating less for your entire life, right? Or would you take on, supplements, vitamin mineral supplements, which is due to your less eating and you have this deficiency, right? Uh, obesity is nothing but imbalance inside your body, which is caused by your either oral or gut microbiome, right? So it is an inflammatory disease. Every chronic disease is an inflammatory disease. It's caused by systemic inflammation. So if you're thinking how inflammation in my intestine could cause me gain weight, probably you are being fooled, right? So essentially, you know, everything is linked in. So if someone is saying, inflammation cannot cause you weight gain, it is all, do not believe that, eat less, right? So this is all bullshit. This is all, just unscientific way of losing weight and again gaining weight, again losing weight, again gaining weight. So understand your biology, understand what is the reason why did you gained weight? Is it GLP-1, low expression of GLP-1, PYY, high expression of ghrelin, low expression of leptin? There's some gut-brain communication happening which is causing or some inflammatory byproducts like microbiome or nitric oxide deficiency because of oxidative stress or maybe again inflammation. Probably again low expression of nitric oxide synthase, right? Or oral microbiome imbalance causing uh, low production of nitric oxide. So there's low nitrate storage in your muscle reservoir, right? So there are multiple things here, right? So essentially you can't just say I'll eat less or I'll have a lot of protein or probably I will just have a GLP-1 drug and it will it will cordon off my obesity issues. It's all myth. It's all hypothesis, right? To understand your body is not a hypothesis. Your body is a web of various molecular features. Understanding each of these features is the key to understand your metabolic health. Energy metabolism is all about various proteins and various hormones released by your gut and the oral microbiome, which impacts and even metabolites is by your oral gut microbiome, which impacts your weight management, right? So I ask these questions before taking these drugs. It may work for someone, it may not work for other. Do not fell for okay, this company, there's certain influencers, certain celebrities doing ads, right? That I took this supplement, I took this probiotic, it helped me lose weight, it helped me, maintain my weight, it improved my energy level, blah blah blah, right?
When you talk of celebrities, I feel it's a lie because no celebrity
Yeah,
is going to do.
no, it's not about lie. You don't understand, as I mentioned,
I mean,
you
that's
don't.
just a way of selling it. Somebody who is following a celebrity and the celebrity takes it all, takes money for advertising
No,
that product. So I
that's
think
their
as
business model.
consumers, we do know that, that obviously this celebrity is not really using it, he's just marketing it, he's paid for it.
No, no,
And we
Sakshi.
still
Even
believe.
even if they're using it, my simple scientific way of telling you is, do you share 95% of the biology with them? You don't even share that with your sibling or with your wife or with your son, right? So how could you share that biology with some stranger who is doing a particular ad or who was an actor in a movie, right? So understand when they're telling this may or may not work for you. Please take all precautions, right? It worked for me. I took this as work for me, right? So I'm endorsing it, right? I don't know whether it will work for you or not, right? Probably try it, right? Even if and you or some of them are okay, they don't even try, they endorse it because they get paid for every single minute they invest in this promoting this provider. So that's a basic thing. Most of the companies do not talk about science. We have to talk about science. We have to see how we can correlate the scientific discoveries, right, with or create a causation with the scientific discovery and the data coming from the scientific discoveries to actually apply on our biology and understand. So for that, we have to understand our biology first, right? How our biology is figuring out what they are doing, what kind of genes they're expressing, what metabolites they're secreting, what kind of molecular interaction is happening, how your gut is talking to your brain, right? Whether your gut is producing acetate, which is secreting GLP-1 or not, right? If it is secreting, probably, it's good. If it is not, whether you have a GLP-1 receptor there or not, right? Or probably you have those microbes active which are converting these drugs into GLP-1. So you have to see from a even pharmaceutical perspective, right? Although it's not a right approach, but you have to see that whether you effectiveness of pharma, whether your microbiome is actually making sure that you're getting the benefit of the pharma drugs or not, right? So that is really, really important to understand. Yeah.
So with this, we end our discussion here, and I think we'll be coming back with another episode, which is going to be quite interesting. So stay tuned and keep listening to our
and
talks.
and,
Thank
and
you.
probably will not be available for next 4 5 days because we are traveling actually, and we'll be coming up with the next set of informative sessions maybe next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.